Okay, I think we can start. I'll just say welcome to everyone. Welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Kay van Damme. I'm from Belgium, Diedhiou University, and I'll be anchoring this session 3 of today together with Haifaa. Haifaa will be leading most of the part because I've been away for a little bit of time, so I'm just jumping in. We've already had 2 amazing sessions earlier today, so this is the 3rd one, and welcome to everyone who's here. We already have 35 participants at the start, which is a really good number to start. We have most of the people who will give the keynote and the people who will present from the competition here already. And I want to thank everyone for this amazing work to set this up, and everybody who came here to do the effort to be here on a Saturday. Lots of old faces and new faces, so it's really, really nice to be here. And I want to say thank you and welcome. And then I will give the word to Haifaa to start. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kea. And yeah, I think I will leave. Can we go to I would like just to introduce this first bit. Yeah. So this is I would like just to say that to give you some instructions to have a positive and let's say clear discussions during the day, during the session. So please try to keep your microphones muted, and yeah, please use your real name, and please to make sure that it's the real one, so we know you. In addition, that we would also like to ask you if you are assigned already to a breakout room to put the number of the room in front of your name, not at the end, before your name, and so we can assign you easily to the breakout rooms. And we'd like to let you know that we are going to use Miro as the electronic digital platform for interaction, and all links will be provided shortly. So, and yeah, and also wherever you have questions or thoughts please put it in the chat. And please note also, this will be the same structure as session 1 and 2, and also other the first all 4 sessions will be the same structures unless the last one, which is the closing session. And next, please, to Mario, please go ahead.
Thank you, Haifaa. Can you hear me, everyone? Thank
Yes.
you. So thank you, Haifaa, and thank you, Kay, for putting together session 3. On behalf of our World Heritage, we welcome you to the 3rd event of this year and the 2nd Globinar for the theme of transformation and impacts of information technology. It's one of the themes of the 12 monthly debates that we will have on World Heritage happening in 2021. My name is Mario Santana. I'm a professor at Carleton University, and it is my honor to be involved in this initiative. Our World Heritage is mobilizing citizens and professionals to renew and reinforce heritage protection for the next 50 years. The monthly debates of our initiative aim to raise general awareness about the significance of our natural and cultural World Heritage sites and about critical pressures they are encountering from unsustainable development activities, climate change, and civil unrest, among others, and pandemics nowadays. The initiative aims to foster opportunities for the involvement of civil society in finding innovative, sustainable solutions. For further information, you can go to our website that we will put it in the chat. The transformational impacts of information technology opened with a first Globinar on January 9th this year. We had about 23 hours long marathon of events, 120 speakers, and 900 participants from all over the world. The beginning of a global network that we have created and consolidated with Globinar 2 that you are now attending. On February 6th, we also had an activity entitled Moving Forward, Innovative Tools and Untold Histories in Our World Heritage. Here we got feedback and recommendations about the policies that we have been developing for the World Heritage Committee. And we also revealed for the first time the draft concept of the toolkit that we are going to be talking on Globinar 2. Today, our Globinar will occur around the world in these 5 sessions. We hope to get your input and feedback during the panel discussions on the 3 key toolkit elements that already Haifaa has mentioned. And we would also be announcing the winners of the global competition. We had about 36 teams that submitted really great proposals. We had a first batch of 9 teams that passed for the second round, and many of them will be presented. Many of them have been presenting already some of the work, and you will also see some of the work that they have been doing in this session. In particular, we would like to express our thanks to our industrial partners, Capturing Reality, Cintu, Elucidaire, Time Looper, World Sensing, and Solar Fröhlich, for the generous offers prices for this competition. On behalf of myself and our coordinator, Christina Kammerer, and my co-convener, Haifaa Abedalhaleem, we recognize and appreciate the tireless work of many members of our team and welcome you to today's Globinar. We also like to invite each of you to get involved in all other activities and debates this year. We look forward to hearing your valuable ideas and thoughts. So back to Haifaa and Kay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Kay.
Sorry, I'm muted. I was talking to myself. Thank you very much, Mario. Just want to say, everyone, this is the second Globinar. For those who were brave enough to sit all through the first Globinar, thank you very much for doing also the second one. It's very much appreciated. And there's quite some evolution also on the technical side in these Globinars, and the questions also evolve and the discussions evolve, which is really nice. It's building on itself. It's creating this momentum, which is really amazing. For the later panel rooms, please rename yourself in the Zoom, and remain yourself, both rename yourself in the Zoom, and put the number of the panel room of your choice in front of your name. So panel 1 is capacity building networking. They're here. Panel 2, etc. And they're again in the chat. Thank you, Joe, for putting it in the chat. Okay, Mario is going to remain himself. Joe also put the link to the Miro board, and Haifaa already mentioned it. If you are not acquainted with Miro yet, you can see all the slides, all the presentations. You can put sticky notes in there and give comments on whatever you wish to comment on. It's an interactive, transparent platform, so we all try to be as transparent as possible, and this is a platform to do so. It seems a bit scary at first, but it actually is not. And so please put as much feedback as possible in the Miro board, so you are part of it. So how to put a sticky note? It's very simple. It's a really, there's a kind of a toolbox. You click and then you can add any comment you want in any color you want, pink or blue or orange, green, whatever, and you can add your comment. You can also have a look at the previous presentations of the other sessions, and you can have a look at what's happening right now. So as an icebreaker, we have a poll expert in our room from session 1, Hyeseung, and she's really, really good at this. So we would ask you to join our social activity, which is a poll, and Hyeseung, it's to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Kay and Haifaa, for having me in this session 3. What I would like to do is the activity for icebreaking to know each other before we move on to the next agenda. So our colleague Joe is going to post a polling link in the Zoom chat. So can everybody see the Zoom chat and access the link? And then you have to enter your real name and click continue. Then you will be ready to take part in this, first poll. So I hope, I guess everybody is ready. So Daniel or Joe is going to post a polling question, right? Yeah?
Yeah, it's Daniel.
Okay, Daniel, yes, could you? So, okay, let's have a quick sense of, from where are you joining us? This is our first poll question.
Canada. Who?
Okay, Canada.
So
yes, so who put Seoul? Because I'm from Seoul. I think I'm the only one. I don't know. Is there anyone from Korea?
Wait, I put Belgium here. Where did Belgium go?
This is the new one,
Canada.
Daniel.
Canada.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Joe. Yeah, actually, we have 10 seconds to complete this poll. So please try to submit your answer as soon as possible. So we are going to close in 3 seconds. Yes, it's done. Okay, very good. Okay, now we are posting our second polling question. So Joe, you already posted this polling link here. So people, we'd like to ask you to submit the answer about which topic did you come to hear about or discuss today? Okay, data Sim2. Yes, our industry partner, toolkit. Very nice, cool networking management capacity. We have 20 seconds to close this poll. So try to, submit your answer as soon as possible. Yeah. Community for interpretation, very good. Okay, we will close this, poll in 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's done. Okay, very good. So thank you very much for your everyone for your active participation. Actually, this amazing, collaborative work will be shared through our social media later. So stay tuned for our Facebook or Instagram. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you so much, Hyeseung. I just, yeah, this looks really cool. I just saw Sim2 here in big, and I wanted to use this to remind people that there will also be an industry booth for the Sim2 Cloud. And so some of our sponsors will be here. Also, Dominique Pouliquin is here, and I want to thank them for being here. So thanks also to all the sponsors who are sponsoring the competitions for being here. And this is really nice. So looking forward to this. We have quite a diverse program, and as Haifaa was mainly leading the compilation of this program, it's quite balanced in culture and nature. So we are from a nature background, so we have also quite a lot of things related to nature in this session, as in the previous session. So, right, back to you, Haifaa.
Yeah, I just would like to highlight that we will have also at the end of the session, after the 3 hours, we will have virtual networking with amazing experts, and you will see here also like a group of youth and like professional and senior experts in World Heritage, and we encourage you to register. Yeah, okay, thank you. To register and take this opportunity to talk to those experts. So here are the experts' names and profiles. Please, you can go at the end of the my report, at the end of the session my report, and check them and register there. So yeah, again, and okay.
I think we can start moving to the keynote.
Yeah,
slowly.
we need to move to the key thematic speakers. Yes. Yeah, thank you. So our first speaker, we will have Youssouph Diedhiou from IUCN, and he's also from Senegal. Thank you, Youssouph, for being with us. Youssouph, he has a very long and deep and rich experience in World Heritage, and he's a World Heritage Program officer for West and Central Asia at IUCN, Central Africa, sorry, in IUCN. Youssouph, he has a master's degree in protected areas management, and he is also work in Nikulu, Kuba National Parks in Senegal, and he's also was responsible in coordinating parks management activities. And also I invited him because I remember he was also responsible for a transboundary project between Mauritania and Senegal, and it's one of the most successful transboundary project I ever passed through during my experience. And he also have deep experience, like a very rich experience in monitoring and protection, conservation of World Heritage and local communities involvement. Please, Youssouph, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Haifaa, and I'm very happy to
to attend this great meeting. Sorry if my English is not very fluent, but I'm very, very happy to share my experience and to learn many things from you also. My presentation, you talk about, as you know, the management standard for natural transboundary in West and Central Africa. Next. As you know, the operational guidelines do not set a standard for management of transboundary properties, but the operational guidelines of the World Heritage Convention strongly recommend to establish a consensus and integrate management system between all the transboundary sites. And there are many tools which define the standards of management effectiveness. Next. Next, please. Yes. Now, if you see in West and Central Africa, we have 3 transboundary natural World Heritage sites. The first is the Monimba Reserve between Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire. The second is in West Africa is transboundary site between 3 countries, Benin, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And it is an extension site because the first inscription is the Niger's component. And the third is in Central Africa between 3 countries, Congo, Cameroon, and Republic of Central Africa. Next, please. But if you see globally, in West and Central Africa, by this map, you see that we can say most of the sites in West and Central Africa are transboundary sites. If you take, for example, in Senegal, you have 2 natural World Heritage sites, Nyokolokoba, which is around Guinea. Nyokolokoba is near the national park in Guinea, which name is Badjar. If you take Diedhiou also in Senegal, Diedhiou is a natural site in Senegal, but Diedhiou is a transboundary site with Djawling National Park in Mauritania. It's the same if you go to Cote d'Ivoire also. The 2 natural sites, National Natural Site, Comoé National Park and Thai National Park are also in transboundary site. And that if you see this map, you can say at the beginning of the process, if all these countries work together, now in Africa, we'll have most of our natural site are transboundary site. It means, next, please. Next, please. Yes, it means that we need to have standard to manage transboundary site. As many of our sites are transboundary site, it's important to have a collaboration between countries, to have standards, to implement tools to best manage the World Heritage site. Next. Next, please. Okay. Why transboundary cooperation is very necessary? If you take these cases, this is Monimba cases. You know, Monimba is a transboundary site between 3 countries, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia. But all the components of Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire are inscribed in the World Heritage list as a transboundary site. But the third component, which is very linked to the others, is in Liberia. And if you see the pictures, in Liberia, the state party authorized the mining company to do mining activities a long time ago, around maybe 30 years ago, in this area, they practice mining. And if you see these two pictures, you see that in Liberia, this site cannot be inscribed in the OWH because it have problem of integrity, and this site is very linked to others. It means also if they don't have a strong collaboration between the others, the potential maybe pollution or the potential threat in Liberia side can impact the other side in Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire. That's why it's very important to have transboundary collaboration when we have transboundary side. As if one of the side is not in the World Heritage List, is not an example to don't have this collaboration. Next. Next, please. Yeah, this collaboration is very important, and the best way to have this collaboration is to have a global protection and management system, which is one of the components of the OUV. Next. Yes. Why we need collaboration between all the stakeholders around transboundary World Heritage Site? Because if we have this collaboration, it will be very important. In this collaboration will help us for conflict prevention and management, will help us also to have a consensus in many strategy to best manage the site. It helps us also to have agreement, because agreement are very important. Agreement are from all the stakeholders, from scientists, from all the NGO, from also local community, to have a good agreement. And all this will help to achieve the management objective. It's very important in these cases to have all the stakeholders working on the same tools, on the same monitoring system. Next. Next, please. Okay, what are the pillars of transboundary cooperation? We can have many things, but if you summarize the pillars, you have three important pillars. The first is we need to have a scientific and technical collaboration. Why? Because all the state parties haven't the same capacity. That's why if you have a transboundary site, it's important to have a scientific collaboration, to have a good system to monitor the fauna and flora. And also the second important pillar also is to have a management, integrate management plan, because you have a common site, transboundary site have the common value. It's important to have integrate management plan to where you can design all the best practices, how to monitor wildlife, how to monitor also flora, and how to monitor all the threat concerning the biodiversity. It's important also to have a financial cooperation. This kind of financial cooperation will help to have a sustainable financial mechanism. These three pillars are very important for transboundary site if we want to conserve and monitor and also valorize all the value of the World Heritage Site. Next. Next, please. Okay. And we have many tools which can help transboundary site to have the best governance and also management system. And one of the important tool is the green list. The green list is a standard which developed by Hyeseung and his partners in many. Now we start this process in our region at 2017, and many World Heritage sites in our region are in this process, and it will help them to have a good governance, to have also management effectiveness, to have also a good conception and planification, and all this will help to have a positive impact of conservation. Next. We can, for more information concerning this presentation, you can have many information from this important document published by IUCN and in governance, in management effectiveness, and in the cooperation between all the stakeholders to best manage World Heritage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Youssouph, for this very informative presentation, and it's like a very, let's say, complicated topic, which is the transboundary nominations and transboundary sites, which actually, you remember that we worked together, me, you, and Eugene also, which is here, on like how to discuss this in the Arab region and how we can promote this concept. So our next speaker, we will have Eugene Zhou. Eugene, thank you for being with us and joining us. So I would like to first introduce Eugene. Eugene, she's the program coordinator for the World Heritage Program Leadership. Eugene is the program coordinator for the joint IUCN ICROM World Heritage Leadership Program, and she joined ICROM in 2017 and is based in Rome. Her main tasks include coordinating various activities for overall programs, such as integrating the resources manual on managing natural and cultural world heritage and disaster risk management, and enhancing the connection between sites and people by coordinating learning sites and leadership networks. Prior to her current position, she has worked on various different areas of World Heritage at national level. She was the World Heritage focal point for the Republic of Korea for 9 years at the Cultural Heritage Administration, and has held staff and consultancy position to various Korean entities. And she also served as a rapporteur to the World Heritage Committee 2016. Eugene, she holds a master's degree in Cultural Heritage Studies and bachelor's degree in Korean history, and currently completing her PhD on World Heritage Studies on Kunkuk University in Seoul. I hope that I spell it right. Yeah, and yeah, I'm very happy to have you here, Eugene. And yeah, so please, yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Haifaa. Yes, I didn't realize you were going to read out my entire bio. That was very embarrassing, but very nice to meet you all. And I'm very happy to be here. And thank you for having me and inviting me to participate in the Globinar for session 3. I just wanted to clarify that my Director General, Weber and Doro from ICROM, actually wanted to participate in person as well, but unfortunately he was occupied with another mission, and the task fell on me. So I'll do my best to fill his shoes. And I'll mainly be talking about Panorama as a tool, as a platform tool that we can use for capturing management practices for linking nature and culture. I do want to make a big clarification at the onset that this is not necessarily a work of an individual, but it's actually a mutual collaboration between many people who have told and spent a lot of time in trying to build it up. And mainly I would like to recognize my colleagues Maya Shizawa and Nicole Franceschini for working tirelessly together with me during the last year or so to be able to bring this Panorama toolkit about. We're still in the very early stages. And it's been one of our missions, let's say, to actually advertise it a little bit more and make use of it, and so that we can actually collaborate and collate more management practices out there and be able to use it as sort of like a database and an archive that would spur further research and studies based on these initial information collection. So without further ado, I'll start my presentation. Just as an introduction, as Haifaa told you, I am the program manager for the World Heritage Leadership Program. And the key thing about this program is that it's actually a joint program that's being run jointly between IUCN and ICROM through the funding provided by the Norwegian government, the Ministry of Climate and Environment. But we also work in all aspects of our program very closely together with ICOMOS and with UNESCO World Heritage Center as well. So it's very much a mutual collaboration between all the statutory bodies of the World Heritage Convention. And the key idea behind the program, at the beginning, it was more about, it was very much about linking nature and culture and the practices of managing heritage, world heritage, but also promoting a people-centered approach and trying to reinstall back the role of people and the function of people within the conservation of heritage. We're now sort of channeling that together and coming to a coordinated approach where we're trying to adopt the place-based approach, where we think that understanding the heritage place in its entirety, including the values, the attributes, the context, the people, and how heritage relates and has a dynamic relation to its surrounding environment is very crucial in making sure that the place, the heritage sites that we so dearly wish to protect, is managed and conserved well. So it's also a capacity building program. So we're very much targeting site managers, practitioners who actually work on the ground at specific heritage sites, and be able to provide with them the knowledge and tools that are accumulated at the international level. We do see that there is, at many instances and in many realities, there is a very big block or barrier between what goes on in the international arena and what actually goes on at the ground level of many different heritage sites, and that the flow of information is not always necessarily very fluid. We also recognize that up until now, the policies and different developments in conservation theory and management practices have been mostly one way, where a lot of the information that are pooled at the international level do flow into the local levels and to the site levels, but it wasn't necessarily very easy to capture what was going on at the ground level at different sites with their different contexts. So it was also an important factor for us to provide site managers a channel for them to actually promote their own practices and describe how they were doing their jobs. Oops. So we have about 25 curated pilot case studies, all based on World Heritage sites, and it's pooled together on a platform called Panorama. And within Panorama, there are many thematic communities, and out of which the World Heritage Leadership Program is currently coordinating the nature culture thematic community. Now, our aim is to bring together heritage practitioners from different natural and cultural heritage fields to share their management practice and learn from each other. And it's to generate sort of a community of practice and heritage network at a global level. And it's not actually necessarily based only on World Heritage sites. Any heritage site that have a component of management practice that do link together nature and culture are all eligible to actually upload their case studies onto the platform. And in order to kickstart off the community, we've been collecting 20 to 25 pilot case studies last year. We're continuing on to curate more case studies. These case studies are examples that showcase the processes that involve landscape approaches or place-based approaches to heritage management and practices that interconnect people, nature, and culture. So this is what the platform looks like at the current moment. And you'll see that we have more than actually 25 solutions that we've already accumulated from scratch. But as you can see at the top part here of the green screen, there are many different thematic communities already built up in the Panorama platform. The platform initially started out as a nature-oriented platform. And with the with the establishment of the nature culture thematic community, this was the first time that cultural heritage organizations started to join the platform. And it was actually very interesting for us to go back and look through the existing 600 or so solutions to figure out that they also had a lot of element of culture in them. So even in the practices of natural heritage sites, we could identify that there were a lot of interlinkages of management practice that recognized the role of culture and people in it, but they just didn't have the mechanism to actually portray it or demonstrate it through in their solutions. The purpose of this community is to actually be able to bring together the management practices from the ground. And our goal is to foster a community of practice and being able to talk to each other cross-sectorally and multidisciplinarily. So out of the 288 solutions that you see on the screen here, a lot of them are actually from existing nature solutions that do also capture an element of culture in them. Now, the key issues that we were trying to address was that the World Heritage System and national administrations actually follow a very strong nature-culture divide, which actually don't necessarily exist at local level when you're managing the actual place. We also have local communities and indigenous people who hold diversities of worldviews, where nature as a separate entity to their lives is not a norm. And therefore, we believe that by collecting all these different ways of practices and approaches, we can inform how policies can be adapted to be built up with bottom-up collaboration. It's also to recognize the importance of the connection between research and practice. Any research that does not embed itself on actual practice on the ground can be very shaky, as is the same with practice. However good and sound the practices are, they do also need to be equipped with a certain kind of rigor and structure that can be gained through the partnership with research sector. So it's to promote a disciplinary and sectoral connection between all the different parties involved in protection of world heritage. And that has led us to create this panorama nature culture thematic community. In the process of actually accumulating different solutions, as we call them, the case studies, it has actually brought together for us as ICROM, I speak on behalf of ICROM, but also for ICOMOS as a cultural heritage organization, that it has given us a very concrete avenue to be discussing different management practices together with IUCN, but also UN Environment Program, the German Development Agency. So many different agencies that work in different sectors, but also in natural heritage. And it has given us a venue to be actually continuing to talk about the cultural and natural diversity. And we also realize that there is the need to acknowledge culture and local actor interventions very actively in nature site management as well. So in the process of creating the thematic community, we had to actually change a lot of the filter sets that existed within the Panorama platform, where we had to add the sector of culture into it, because originally it was only focusing on natural sectors. We had to also add local actors as an identified acting governance group. And in terms of different challenges and factors, we also had to add in a lot of changes in sociocultural contexts, but also we flagged up the different hazards that could be caused by geological reasons, because in effect, even though the Panorama platform itself was also a nature-oriented platform, a lot of the focus was on biodiversity and not necessarily on geodiversity. So with the introduction of World Heritage coming in, we also found the need to increase the filter sets that we could use for geological hazards as well. The Panorama platform actually operates upon, let's say, two main users. So it allows practitioners to share and reflect on their experiences, but then it also allows people who need to have ideas and who are seeking different case studies to come and search for those case studies actively. So the ones that can upload their management practices are called solution providers. And once they upload and write up what they're doing, the solution is reviewed by a reviewer that is designated by the portal administration. And the solution, once it's uploaded onto the platform, the solution seeker can actually come to the platform, search, type in a keyword, and actually be able to draw out relevant case studies that they're seeking for. And the way that is actually able to be done is that all the case studies need to follow a certain format. They need to be accommodating into the standard format where there are a lot of tags and filters already classified. So they need to tick on the relevant keywords that their own management practice will be representing, so that for the solution seeker, it's easier to find relevant case studies. And then we have the section of the building blocks, which is a section that actually identifies the fundamental practices that this site has actually adopted that can be adapted and replicated in other places. So these are the sort of the key practices that is the backbone of the actual solution itself. And these case studies that are once uploaded onto the platform can be integrated into different capacity development activities or workshops. You're here seeing a case study from Canada, from the Pimachoy Naki, and you can see an example of it uploaded, but it's just little snippets of it at least. But you can see that the solutions also identify the key contributors with their names and their contact details, and also the different organizations or institutions that have been a part of curating the case study itself. And this is to actually vouch for the credibility of the information. We're very aware that whatever management practice there can be different and divergent views about whether or not it is a valid practice or not, or whether it's a positive practice or not. And although we can't manage to vouch for 100% of its validity, at least by making sure that the materials that are uploaded with the blessing of the management organizations involved in the heritage site, we are able to promote cleared and valid information. And as you can see, here is an example of the building block. And this process, the building up of the building block, actually allows the solution seeker to critically analyze what their management practices are. It's not only to also help whoever is searching for the case study, but it allows the site manager to think back on their practices and to draw out common messages that they would like to share with other practitioners around the world. There are also elements such as enabling factors and lessons learned that provides a more narrative point of view of the solution itself. And when you are a solution seeker, you can go in and actually use all the different filters to be able to narrow down the specific type of case study that you are searching for. So if you're looking for some good practices in governance in the American regions, you can just tag those filters and be able to draw out explicitly the different solutions that would be relevant for your work. So we've had a lot of opportunities trying to build this up, and it's been a wonderful experience trying to connect the practitioners, researchers, and decision makers through the platform. And it's given us the momentum to be able to strengthen the exchange between researchers and site management. And it's also true that it's a very strong learning by doing and enabling peer learning through the management staff of various different sites. But there are also identified challenges. We do realize that the review process that we adopt does not apply strict scientific standards, because these are not supposed to be scholarly articles, but sort of a snapshot of the current management practice. We also need to be able to create more tools for evaluating and analyzing the data to be able to collect impacts of the platform itself. And there is the need of sharing and learning from unsuccessful examples as well. Currently, the Panorama platform is built upon sharing best practice. And I think we all know the dangers of sharing just best practice, because most of the key messages that we can learn are actually from failures as well. So we do understand that we have a lot to do to improve the collection of different practices. And there is the very strong need to be able to capture indigenous and local knowledge into these management practices to be able to build up a stronger base of information. Currently, we're very much dedicated to engage cultural heritage practitioners to use the platform as well, to be able to also give us more ideas and inputs to be able to improve the platform, because the platform itself is a joint collaboration between so many different organizations. We all pitch into developing and advancing the platform structure as well. So if there are any elements or parts that we, as the cultural heritage sector or the world heritage sector, or anybody from the research practice sector would need to have improved, that's also a possibility to be communicated through us as well. But with that, I close my presentation, and thank you very much for letting me speak.
Yeah, thank you, Eugene. This is very informative presentation, and I just would like to summarize like some of the key points or ideas from the two presentations. So like I found out that it's very important to find like kind of what called like standardized systems, or like something that like general guidelines to be followed, either if we talk about transboundary management and conservation, or on the culture nature practices, linkages and practices. And also I found out that there's like, it's a kind of like mobilizing resources. It's like Youssouph, he mentioned that one of the key outputs of the having transboundary collaboration, that like different countries, because they have different capacities, they can mobilize resources, and it can lead to better management, because the resources available is more, let's say, and also they can change experiences, which also like from different perspective, I can find this also like IUCN, ICROM, and ICOMOS, they also joined resources in a way or another. In addition, like culture and nature professionals, communities now, and NGOs. One of like the things I also find it interesting that it's like you talk about like how we can find like how you are trying to develop like a mechanisms, or like let's say structure on how to make sure that the information you are collecting is reliable, and we can use it and we can promote it, which actually also one of the issues we were talking about during the discussion of developing the concept of toolkit, which we'll discussing later. And I think we need also like, to be honest, like one of the inspiration also databases we look at during our development, because we were looking into different databases, was also Panorama, and how such platform is really good to share practices, the good practices. And it's not only like local communities and like culture nature linkages, but in general promote practices innovation. It's also, I think it's important, and it's opened a new door for a new thinking, let's say rethinking how we do things and be more flexible. And I think this pandemic now, we all here like having meeting with more than like 50 person like in one place. So I like it, just like the Panorama project give a good platform for a new thinking and new innovative way of how to deal with things. And also I would also say that of course we will have more focused discussion with you and your team. And like, we'd like to ask also your advice on our toolkit. And also, I think like me and Kay, we were talking a lot about this panorama, and we have a plenty of case studies in the region, in the Arab region, in Yemen and Socotra, that I think it's worth to share. And I think also I would recommend everybody here also to, if they see something interesting, it's very good to share, because not exchanging knowledge, and here we are talking about information technology, but it's mainly information. And we would like to encourage everybody to exchange and share your knowledge with us here in the event and with the panorama. And yeah, I would like to thank you, Eugene, and thank your team also. And I would like also Youssouph. I'm not sure if he's still here because he has emergency, but yeah, over to you, Kay.
I'm here.
Hi, Youssouph.
It says Youssouph died, unfortunately. This is what it says in your camera, Youssouph. I hope you're still alive.
Yeah, because we can see you, Youssouph.
Thank you very much to both speakers. I think Haifaa said it very eloquently, and I agree with these points. It also connects to one of our previous sessions. I think it was session 1 and in session 2, where people were actually discussing the, oh, thank you, Nicole. People were actually discussing how to quantify potentially and analyze nature-culture linkages. If there's a way that we can think about whether there's a way, either through questionnaires or other ways, to quantify the linkage of local people to their environment, it could be a way to also compare and find a way to have an idea of potential risk areas where this local communities might be losing their connection to their place and to nature. So that's more sociological, psychological work, but it could be something very interesting to also develop and think about within the toolkit. The only extra thought I had about the Panorama platform was how the reviewers can assess whether the actual project or practice is real. Because very often people will actually say, okay, this is the best project ever because we made it, but how do you assess whether it's actually, assess with people on the ground whether it's actually real? So this is it's always difficult, of course, and there's always limits to being able to review and assess this. But anyway, Haifaa also said that if it's anything within the region, we're always very happy to also help review some of these things. I think it's very nice to link the users and the actual stakeholders to local examples. It's very nice, and also what you said about examples of.
We have a question here.
Yeah, there's several questions. Haifaa, can you say it?
Yeah, we have a question here from Ishwan. And any idea regarding how Panorama is being used at the moment, like how people use it, like these lesson learned, and it would be useful to learn from the users. Yeah. And another question is, are you logging data about the users? Yeah, these are the 3 questions. Yeah.
Well, about the impact, the user impact, and collecting indicators of how active the users are. This is actually the part that is being currently developed within and being improved within the Panorama platform. We're all the partners that are involved in operating the platform are very aware that the initial stages of building up the platform is now more or less a little bit stable, but we now have to concentrate on making sure that the turnover, the use and the functioning is actually creating a good impact, and it's actually being adapted elsewhere. So we're in the process of developing a lot of impact indicators and trying to pick up different usages through tracking the website, and these are being in the process of being developed. So for the moment, it's work in progress. Logging data about the users, I think there are various levels of different users that can be identified within the platform. Obviously, if you are a solution provider that needs to submit a case study through the website, you do need to log in, create an account and log in, and those data is stored. But then if you are just a random user, let's say, who does not log in and just uses the search function of the platform itself, the data would not be collected in any non-usual way other than collecting your cookies for actually visiting the website itself. We are actually thinking of perhaps collecting information about what are the main key search words that people actually do input to be able to have a better idea of, you know, what is the trending kind of ideas that are going to be collected. But those kind of things are all still to come, I think. But Kay, you did mention about the validity of the actual case study, the practice. Is it real? Does it actually happen like that on the ground? And I think that was one of our main worries when we were actually starting this up. So for the moment, what we're doing is we're actually going through a very sort of a careful curation process where at least for our thematic community, where the leadership program is playing one of the main roles of trying to collect more case studies, we actually do try to accompany each and every case study one by one to be able to draw out actual evidence to prove that these management practices do go on. And with our coordinators, we've been trying to collect various different viewpoints regarding the same site. So it's not only one individual person who is contributing to the management practice of one site, but for that particular site, we try to make sure that, okay, the local representative can also weigh in, or the other site management office in a different component area can also weigh in, so on and so forth, and trying to cross-reference what they are providing us as information. So at the moment, it's not perfect, but as much as possible, we're trying to eliminate out that margin of doubt.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. There's one more question by Christina, but I think we'll have to leave it. I suggest that when we're going to the expert panels, we'll keep a main room going here and we can discuss these things for about an hour or so, or half an hour to an hour among each other.
Yeah, Eugene, she will be with us in breakout room 1. So
yeah, so it's perfect. So you can continue, because Christina also had a question, but I think we have to move on. Thank you very much, Eugene. Thank you, Youssouph.